Are zombies any good in patch 5.38? These are the vampire count zombies, for the record, and this video is for general purposes, so I will say this early and I will say often, this is without GHORST. GHORST makes them better, and so on. Back with the Vampire Coast, I said zombie pirate deckhand mobs were not just trash, but expensive trash. Now, since then, CA has knocked down their cost a bit, justly so, but vampire counts don't have that problem. Zombies are trash, and are cheap trash. Minimal investment of time with research will make them even cheaper. You can buff them to the afterlife and back to rather ridiculous levels. Should you? By and large, yes, and it all has to do with the epic superpower of being cheap. Recruited for 100 dark magic and 25 upkeep per turn. Yes, that's literally a third of what skeleton warriors cost before further reductions. On Ultra, this gets you 160 zombie entities with a whopping meat-shieldy 12,320 health between them for 77 per entity. Empire Swordsmen are 69 for the record. Armor for zombies is 0. Resistances are 0. For now. Leadership is 35, that is literally 5 better than Fellbats. Now, as vampires, you get plenty of ways to buff leadership, so keep that one filed away. Speed comes at 23 with a charge speed of 26, more like a slightly faster shamble. Well, we weren't expecting much. It's not one of the fast zombie movies. Melee attack begins at 5, as in 1 greater than 4. Attack interval of 4.3 isn't anything particularly awful. Regardless of someone playing around with the datamine stats, there is no splash damage, splash target size being 0. Melee defense starts at the equally miserable 6. Weapon strength 18 is actually not that miserable, split between 16 base and 2 armor piercing. So they're just really, really awful at clawing and biting through full plate armor. That sounds about right. Charge bonus is a comically horrible 3, and mass is 90, which I think is still more than all bones Tomb King's Infantry. Zombies have the standard undead features, can hide in forest away from mortars and bright wizards, and even they cause fear to mortal units. In the redline skills, the Unliving Host grants up to plus 8 melee attack and melee defense at 3 pips. It's important to go over this because, my goodness, that's well over 100% improvement from 3 pips. Gawk and be amazed. Any zombies managing to get to rank 7, or the Regiment of Renown, benefits from Legions of the Dead, granting plus 5 melee attack, sorely needed, weapon strength plus 12%, which is going to be reflected over the very long haul, and spell resistance 15% to diminish the power of mass bombardments. In the tech tree, okay, deep breath. The Book of Arcane, starting the entire northwest corner of the tree, will take 2 turns to research from the start of the game, and grants upkeep minus 35% for zombie units, and leadership plus 5 to the lofty heights of 40. With 1 army, zombies would cost 16 upkeep per turn each. With more armies, 18 or 20 or something. That's important going forward. Raise Newly Dead grants a 5% boost to the Dead Rise Again, reviving units wrecked in battle, and grants speed plus 25% for zombie units. So they're faster zombies. Don't laugh too hard, rounded up that's speed 29, better than your Grave God. The side branch Risen Standard Bearers adds plus 5 to melee defense regardless of redline boost or rank. So, zombies tar pit better. Bonds of Flesh doubles the in-battle healing cap for zombies, and yes, the Hex will reanimate models destroyed in battle if existing models are at full health, be it through the Hex, spell passives, or other passive healing sources. Oh yeah, it also reduces recruitment costs from regular recruitment or Raised Dead by 50%, so it's even easier to assemble your zombie horde. Rotten Gift, and this is a big deal, adds 20% physical resistance to all zombies. Less helpful against actual demons, sure, but a lot in this game still lacks magical attack unless particular spells are used, so that's literally 20% less damage incoming from arrows, crossbows, handgunner bullets, slings, swords, spears, maces, cavalry lances. It's a lot of damage reduction, and the less damage you take, the less damage you need to heal, and the further your healing cap can be stretched. Finally, Master of the Putrid Horde adds 8 zombies to even the lowliest Raised Dead pools, and enables Vanguard deployment for your faster zombies, even if you're not in Vlad's personal army. Once again, I remind, this video covers without GHORST. So how do we use zombies? There's the strategic side and the tactical side. Tactically, they really are meat shields, but vampire counts don't use ranged except for some extremely narrow circumstances, so they're not used defensively really. You can hold them back while heroes harass, but that's about it. Aside from that, you're using them as offensive tar pits, exploiting the enemy's desire to fight to get them to fight on your terms. After all, especially before that speed boost, if the enemy just turned and ran, you'd never catch them. No, tar pitting works on the willing, foolhardy enemies. From there, it's essentially like this. Yes, Graveguard will kill a lot more in the process, and yes, they're far, far stiffer than zombies. But zombies still have a lot of health, more than Graveguard, and in the here and now, a tar pit formed of zombies is doing the exact same work for you as one formed by Graveguard. Plop an overcast pit of shades on top of the enemy and watch the carnage unfold. It works just as well for less than 10% the upkeep for an equal number of units. Which brings us to the second side, the strategic one. I've tried using more expensive vampire units to see how it worked out, and it works out choking the economy and also overkill in a lot of situations. For the benefit of having auto-resolves, you can actually win. You take lots of damage, but you can actually win them. Now, there are battles where you will lose no matter how many zombies you bring. Knights of the Black Rose spam stats are a great example. The pathetic armor-piercing of zombies and the really high melee defense of the knights makes it a one-sided fight no matter how long it takes for the knights to cut through the chaff. So this brings us to two observations. Number one, you need other units to do the killing zombies can't. Number two, you need the zombies so that you can afford the other units meant to do the killing they can't. You're not necessarily going to want to get single lords out with 19 zombies, but one, those lords will be a lot more effective with 19 zombie units than without. Two, without this kind of tactic, you can't afford to field those lords. Three, if it's an immortal bloodline lord and the zombies all die, you've created a serious battle site for raised dead in the future. These are the obvious observations. Less obvious is using a hybrid strategy. Let's say you can tar pit effectively using zombies, and they won't simply be bait for a massive chariot army. This is to say, if you don't want that to happen to you, at least toss a couple of skeleton spearmen in. What's going to actually kill the tar-pitted units? Black Knights? A Mortis engine? A vampire hero with enough winds of magic to be dangerous? Crypt horrors slipping through the cracks? Morn ghouls slamming from behind? Oh yeah, what's going to stop your zombies from being annihilated by mortar and archer fire? Direwolves, fell bats, more Morn ghouls, Vargeists. These are not trick questions. The roster is full of viable, serious responses, allowing for individual flavor and loss of impact, all made possible by your zombies being plentiful, high health, and cheap. Circumstances will vary. Legend of Total War style blob tactics are possible, but not if the enemy has the magic to make you pay. Well, what about a huge handgunner line? Yeah? Can they shoot enough zombies to stop you from shambling into their faces? Often the answer is no. With a bit of help from fellbats and wolves, the answer is probably no. Being tied down and pushed means being pushed or targeted just long enough to get swarmed by the zombies and drowning in claws and bites. Auto-resolve will invariably despise you like you kicked its dog. Even without Ghorst, zombies can be secretly strong, but only if you use them well and only if the enemy isn't specifically set up to waste them. I mean, good luck against Iron Drakes. But even against Iron Drakes, will a few survivors make it and maul them just long enough to get Morn ghouls into their backs? Don't ask if zombies are better than the enemy. They aren't. Ask if they're good enough to help you win. And the answer to that is often yes. Take care and have fun dragging enemies back to the grave with you. Zombies are key minions for your inhuman resources department, increasing the ranks even while creating vacancies.